All right, everybody, welcome back to the Agents of Comic Book podcast. I, of course, am Paul Christian.
And I am Eric Jackson.
That's right, and we're taking a quick break from our Batwoman series today because we wanted to get a quick little Joker ep in there before, while it's still in theaters, all people can see it.
Well, it's still somewhat relevant.
Relevant.
You're on
your A game today,
yeah,
Eric.
Great start.
Thanks for bringing it. But of course, if we're going to talk about the Joker, we had to bring in our local resident Joker expert.
Yeah.
Lucas Cloudy Hale.
It'd be me.
That's right.
I'd be the one who does the Joker.
And also, I do want to bring up while we're in here that if you do want to follow us on Twitter, we do announce beforehand what we're reading, so that way you can follow along with what we're doing. We're on Twitter at Agents of Podcast. So we are trying to, and I mean, generally we just like talking about comics and we follow retweet creators, and if you do follow, we'll follow you back because this is a book club community.
Oh yeah,
we're not above you. I want to see everything you're tweeting.
Yeah, we're gonna follow it very closely.
We're gonna really go take a fine tooth comb through that.
Like, this sub I had at this sub shop was really tasty. We're gonna be there the next day, being like, I'll give it a 6 out of 10 at best.
Yeah, we're gonna review your sub shop. It's not up to par.
Oh yeah.
Damn it, XX Sonic Lover 6969. I thought the sub would be better.
I mean, I guess if you don't want us to follow us, let you know. I assume most people would want that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
even if you want any questions, you can tweet them at us. You can email us. Yes. Right. The email is
and one thing is because we're gonna read any mail that we get on the show. Like I said, it's interactive. We want to know, and it doesn't have to be about comics. It can be if you want to let us know what you thought about what we're reading, or what you're pulling, and just anything about comics, or just tell us about your day.
Just crazy shit.
If you just survived like a crazy plane crash, let us know.
Yeah, I'd love that.
That would be a great story.
I've got a great question. I'm on iFunny, the comic community there, and someone asked, I put up the thing, any questions you want to ask, and I got like a really good one. So
save that for our mail.
We'll get there.
I consider
stay
that
tuned
mail
for that.
Yeah, I consider that mail. So we'll include that. We did also get some other mail in. If you want to send us mail, it's going to be at agentsofcomicbook@gmail.com. So go ahead and send us anything, and we'll read it on the podcast. So we'll have the mail section in between our two books. I think we'll get to it then. All right, but yeah, we're here to talk about Joker today. We're going to be talking about Killing Joke by Alan Moore. That's, of course, I mean, if you're going to talk about Joker, I feel like you got to cover that one.
I don't think anyone's heard of that one.
No. If you're not sure about it, it's about a quick story about Batman and this villain I haven't really heard of. I think he's called the Jokester.
He sounds like a real D-lister. Like, you would never really take off.
Yeah, he's some kind of clown. I think he's like a Pennywise ripoff.
Yeah.
But cheesy. But before that, we're going to review Volume 3 of Scott Snyder's Batman run, which is where he brought back the Joker back to the New 52. A very weird take on the Joker, but I do like it, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting, for sure.
But
he's fucked.
He's a little fucked.
Yeah, he's pretty fucked.
But we'll get to how fucked he is in a minute here. Because we're going to be talking about Scott Snyder, art by Greg Capullo. So we're opening up the comic. This is kind of where Joker comes back after not being in the New 52 at all. So this is really everyone's first exposure to him. And I think that the writing on the Joker is like perfect for this. I don't know if I love the design.
There's some time. Okay. We'll get into it as we go through here. There's some moments where I'm like, yes. There's other moments where I'm like, no, and especially near the end.
Yeah, I can agree with all that. But one thing I do love about the opening of this comic is I think Scott Snyder kind of tries to write this whole thing kind of like a horror movie, which is a good take on the Joker. I think that's the way you do it.
Especially this version of Joker, because when they bring him back,
it does work with that design.
Yeah, well, we'll touch on it with like Harley later, but this isn't our Joker. Like, something has snapped in him.
Yeah, so he's a little bit off, and the way they kind of show that, obviously, is we can talk about this. The Joker has removed his own face.
Yeah.
Or actually, it's technically someone called the Doll Maker did it, but he let him do it.
Okay.
He asked him to do it, right?
Yeah, it was part of his plan.
Okay.
So this is Volume 3 of Death of the Family, right?
Yeah.
If
so
you have the hardcover.
Did that happen before he went missing?
No. So this is where the Joker comes back. But just to kind of introduce people who haven't read this is the third volume of this Batman run. So Batman's done a little bit of stuff leading up to this, which Joker does reference later in the comic.
Okay.
Because at this point where we're picking up, just to give you some context of where Bruce is at, he's just got done with like a really bloody like fight with the Court of Owls and got like messed up.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's kind of like just getting back into just being normal Batman again, and then this happens, and he's like,
look at this art. Okay, so if we're looking at this, like, I think it's the second page. This art on Jim's face, just like that energy. Going there. That's
just exhaling smoke through his nose. It does look really good. Greg Capullo is like a legendary Batman artist, so I got nothing bad to say about that. One thing I do love about this intro is it sets up like a horror movie where they're just saying like, we knew it was going to be a weird day. All these weird things were happening, and we knew all the signs were aligning.
Should have saw it coming.
And one that I really love is they describe this animal that's born at the zoo. They're like this animal was born with 2 heads at the zoo, and we knew it was going to be a messed up week. And then like because they're like a bunch of kids saw it, they were there to see the live birth of that animal, and then it came out with 2 heads, and they were scarred. I'm like, what were those kids doing there at a live birth of a zoo animal? A kid is going to be scarred seeing that, no matter how many heads it comes out with.
Exactly. Is that a thing in real life?
I mean.
I know I know they have videos of it sometimes online, but like
they gather around, kids. This animal's giving birth. So the next scene we get is at the GCPD where they're kind of just trying to make. I think they all know that something bad's about to happen, but then whoever was watching outside the GCPD was having a really bad time because somehow all the lights go out in the whole facility, and we get this classic horror movie setup, which is amazing.
There's someone standing in the doorway. Wonder who that is.
And it works because I think this scene. There's a lot of it's pretty wordy, which I normally don't like, but for this it slows down what's going on, which helps a lot because otherwise you'd burn through all these like just panels that are just completely pitch black. So I think that works really well because you hear Joker's voice in the background, and there's gunfire, and there's obviously people getting stabbed and getting attacked.
Yeah.
So it's like a massacre at the GCPD, but you can't see anything.
No, what kind of irked me is so has Joker ever been established as being like a good fighter?
Yeah,
sometimes
well,
because
he just bodies everyone in this room, like breaks their fucking necks.
I can believe.
Like,
I mean, he's got like a. I think you don't see it, but I have to assume he's not here alone.
No, he is.
Is he?
Yeah.
I guess he might be.
The thing is, you have to remember is that we only ever see him fight Batman.
True, yeah.
The most skilled hand-to-hand
Yeah,
fighter out there.
So if he's even kind of hanging on with Batman,
if he's going against a room full of cops that they can't see anything, that that gives him a pretty good advantage.
Like 6'2", he's a master of killing. Like he's
6'2"?
Dude, he's like the same height as Bruce.
I thought Bruce was like 6'4".
Yeah, and he's just like a little bit shorter.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like right up there.
Okay.
But yeah, we do kind of. I think Scott Snyder is. We're kind of getting hints. He kind of talks a little bit about the Killing Joke here a little bit as well, because he's teasing Gordon with all the stuff that he's tormented Gordon with over the years.
Yeah, Gordon is in a bad way in this fucking volume.
Yeah, because I mean, him and the Joker have a history. It's not good. But then the lights finally come back on because guess who's here? It's Batman. He's like, "I've come, Jim."
Yeah, just in time.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Batman.
I'm here. What'd I miss?
Yeah, we see literally like almost every cop in the force dead on the floor. It's like, Batman, you're late on this one, bud.
And then like he came back to get his face, right? That was the whole reason.
Right. Yeah, we find that out too, that the face is because Joker left his face when he cut it off.
Gotcha.
So he comes back into the facility to grab his face back and then leaves. And every time we see him after that, that's where we get this look that we're gonna get for the rest of the arc.
Yeah.
Which is Joker with his face literally tied to his own head.
Hooked on.
So yeah, this next page we get Joker up on the in the Batcave up on the monitor. I'm not sure how I feel about that design. Like, what would have been his new 52 design if his face was still on?
I don't mind it. I think it looks kind of menacing, like a horror look without.
He's missing his red lips. That bothers me.
That's true. He almost doesn't have lips.
Yeah. Besides that, though, like I think it's a good look.
Yeah, because you just kind of it's just up on the monitor because we don't ever see that Joker in this volume.
No.
The gist of I guess the theme of this arc, and it's one thing that bothered me at first because it seems like in the beginning of this they're trying to make it seem like Bruce doesn't really trust any of the members of the Bat family a lot when it comes to the Joker. Because Damian brings it up later on. We'll get like him arguing with Nightwing and Batgirl and even Jason. And even with Jason, I'm sure he's like, "Fuck you, man."
Right? Yeah. But no one knows shit.
But yeah, there's a lot of. It seems like, and it's one thing I don't really like because I like when we get that warm version of Bruce Wayne. Like at least when he's with his close family.
Yeah.
I would argue that it makes sense though, because think about what Joker's taken from him, and it depends on like what you like.
Especially after Jason. No, I get what they're going for.
Yeah,
and
then,
by the end they do turn it around. So that's why
with Tim,
right?
Shit is it's just like. Joker's just the kind of guy. It's like, hey, if you guys want to help me fight literally anyone else, sure. But with him, kind of stay away because he will get you and it will be bad.
Right. And this message does kind of turn around by the end, which kind of sold me on the whole thing. I was like, okay, you're just kind of breaking it down so you can build it back up. And I don't mind that because you did kind of reboot Batman. So it's a good moment for people who were like just getting into Batman. And so the manhunt for the Joker is pretty much officially begins here because the Joker is called out on TV that he's going to try to kill the mayor. Another classic Joker.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to kill the mayor. And so the mayor is being put on high alert. All the GCPD cops are kind of in his office. There's a cool part where Gordon even goes by the elevator and he's like, I know you're in here, Batman. He's like, I'm running surveillance. Don't worry. And it's pretty much Joker obviously sees this whole scheme coming because it ends up being that the mayor was never the target. Batman figures it out like just too late.
Yeah, that it's the inverse. That's what it was. does. I think in the in The Man Who Laughs, he kills the mayor.
So that's pretty cool. He's going back and basically just redoing all his crimes, so with a little twist.
Right.
So we've gone in this comic. We've had like the old classic slasher type of horror. Now we've got this like almost zombie looking horror with the bloated body.
Yeah, it's like it's body horror. Yeah. It's good because Capullo and Scott Snyder has done like a bunch of horror comics like in indie stuff. So this is like in his wheelhouse. This is great. And then so this one part that's pretty dumb is he does get the clue for where to go find the Joker by taking the initials of all the chemicals in the Joker toxin. And I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
He's like, he hid these clues for me here. I'm like, is this the Joker or the Riddler?
Well, doesn't that kind of happen at the end too?
Yeah, it happens all over. He keeps leaving these little hints like the Riddler would, and I'm like, okay.
Well, I mean, Joker's kind of like
I guess
Joker's never gonna do a crime and not let Batman know.
But the Joker's even in this comic later, and it's like you're kind of taking his thing, man.
Yeah.
You mean the Riddler?
The Riddler, yeah. Because the Enigma's probably like, dude, you're leaving clues. That's my thing. Batman gets led to Ace Chemicals, which is where the clue led him. It's where he originally fought the Red Hood Joker. We'll come up to it in the Killing Joke as well when we get to that. And then I don't know how Batman doesn't recognize this sooner, but it's Harley Quinn under the mask. And so
how big was this shirt to hide her body?
Well, we do see him later, like putting a bunch of like Kevlar and stuff on her, like just like pat her out, like look a little bit beefier. But we do end the comic with Joker. Because now that we know that Joker's after the Bat family, for some reason, the one member of the Bat family who Batman did not post a guard on was Alfred.
The most important to him,
right?
Like his dad figure.
And then the little two-headed animal shows up.
Kitty.
Yeah, he's apparently fine. Like that thing is fine. I don't know why they
I don't know how
abandoned it.
Joker already nurses thing to like enough health where he can walk around.
Right.
But then Joker, he knocks out Alfred, and that's pretty much the last we'll see of him until the very end of the story. Because he's going to be.
How dare him?
He's going to be the damsel for this arc.
And this is the reveal of what he looks like here. And it's
we do finally get a look of what Joker.
Bad.
He looks messed up.
I do like his outfit, like the white gloves with like the mechanic.
Yeah, the janitor outfit.
Yeah, it's something about it just feels right for this comic.
Yeah.
It's dirty, it's grimy. It's just,
I don't mind the cut off face in a vacuum. It's just I think it's a really good Joker story. So I wish he just looked normal, so it could just be a normal classic Joker story. Maybe that's selfish of me. I was
gonna say I think it works in this story.
I think it. I don't know. It probably does work, but I don't know. So they did leave that issue in kind of a cool cliffhanger where it's like a classic Batman situation. It's like you're locked in the tank of chemicals. Are you gonna get out? And then Batman has to override controls, which is like classic Batman line.
Fucking jetpack.
Like, you should just set the controls to never question you.
Right? Yeah.
You're gonna override it anyway. But yeah, he overrides the explosion, gets out of the tank safely. But yeah, we get more of the Joker acting like the Riddler. This one's even lazier because he just writes the word Gordon on the tape that he finds. He's like, I looked it up. This isn't the name of the artist who wrote this tape. Like you had to look that up. Oh, Gordon, I remember him. He's very famous.
Yeah, right.
But so Joker's getting lazier with his clues all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, that's why he's not the Riddler. Riddler's sitting back there like, C- work.
Yeah, these are terrible clues, Joker. And so he goes to investigate Gordon, and he's too late because by the time he gets to Gordon, he's already like, I'm not feeling so good.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Stark.
Spider-Man wishes. Like Spider-Man should like thank his lucky stars
that he didn't go like this.
Yeah, that he got his way. Because what happens to Gordon is fucked.
Yeah, he starts bleeding from pretty much every orifice. Whatever. He starts bleeding from whatever he has.
It's like every pore almost.
Yeah. And somehow he's fine though, because we open up the next issue and it's like, oh, it was a close call, but he's fine.
We somehow kept him from immediately bleeding out.
He's a tough son of a bitch.
We'll go with it.
Sure, like unadulterated determination kept him alive.
We think it was the mustache that kept him alive.
Oh,
he stored all of the blood into his mustache temporarily.
Absorption.
I love this opening monologue.
Yeah, these parts are cool.
Look into his eyes and tell yourself he's just a man.
That comes up a lot in this arc later on after this panel because this is a great first issue to a comic to just kind of reintroduce you to what's going on. Because it's just Joker's face with like a whole black background and like no text boxes around the text, so it's just like all disorganized.
Yeah, it's just like his thoughts about it. It's like
tell
yourself,
Batman stream of consciousness.
Yeah, tell yourself he can't know the things he says and he does. He can't know your fears, but he has Alfred.
Yeah, that part at the end where it's just like, remind yourself he's a man. Like, he eats, he sleeps.
Yeah.
Like, he's...
Well, see, and they kind of get into this more like as the comic goes on, but what I thought was really cool because through most of this I was like, why is Batman being so like dead set on that like Joker like didn't get into the Batcave? He doesn't know who I am.
Yeah, that does come up in this issue, I believe, because
no, it does. Yeah.
Because the other Bat family members are very rightly questioning Bruce at this
like,
point.
What are you talking? Like, how could you be so sure?
Alfred
dude?
just got kidnapped by the Joker at Wayne Manor. Like, he knows who you are. He's gonna figure out who we are.
Yeah, it's this opening line of this comic. That's right. That's right, Bats. I know who you are. under that little mask, and
Yep.
more to the point, all of you out there listening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's this story, and I'm guessing this goes back to another probably like Golden Age Joker story where he's fighting the Joker on a blimp. Joker falls off, and then Batman goes back to his Batcave in his little bat boat.
Yeah.
And when he gets back, he finds this Joker card that's attached to the boat. So he has this worry for a minute in the back of his head, like, did Joker grab onto the boat and follow me back to the Batcave?
Yeah.
But it ties around to the back.
They answer that at the end.
They
yeah.
do, because the other Batman family members don't get it. They're like, he followed you here. He's going to figure out who we all are, and now we're screwed. And you're not involving us in any of this decision making, and our lives are at stake, which I agree with them 100%.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
I was on that page until I finished it. I was
even
like,
after, though, I'm on their page.
Yeah, you got Joker and Batman on the bridge.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about, where it calls back to that Joker story where he's poisoning the reservoir.
Yep, that's The Man Who Laughs. That's how that story ends.
Which I think I would be fine with this plot because I'm not drinking that Gotham tap water to begin with.
hell
Yeah.
no.
Eric, you don't even drink the tap water where we live.
No. I'm a water connoisseur, so like,
Right.
I'm
So,
very picky.
let alone in a place where every villain is poisoning the tap water. That's not
You'd
happening.
have to be an idiot.
I'm buying bottled. Joker should poison the bottled water. Then he'd get him.
For real though. Poison the fake springs.
But yeah, they do have this really great confrontation on the bridge. It's one of those great like moments you have where they're both like just kind of talking lucidly.
I love how ugly he looks right now.
I
He's
know.
really ugly.
He's like,
So
what? No
ugly.
hug, no kiss, not even a battering to the head. Oh God, I love when this like fucking pun of his. He's like, I just wanted ourselves a nice little relax, have a nice little chat. Face, and he like zooms in on his ugly ass deteriorating. And he's like, tough face.
Yeah, and I love how like one of the eyes is fucked up too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And notice as this comic goes, like the face is more white here. It gets
It starts to decay.
yeah, it starts to
Just because the
decay.
face is coming apart, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one part that's kind of ridiculous, but I'll buy it just because it's the Joker, is like these shattering teeth all come up from the river
yeah.
and then like restrain Batman. Like he's like, oh, not the shattering teeth ropes. And I'm like, I'll go with it because it's the Joker.
I was gonna say, I was like, has he had these the whole time? These things actually rock.
Oh no, these things are like this is like Iron Man tech.
yeah, that's a great technology.
But it incapacitates Batman for pretty much the whole sequence that comes next, which I guess is necessary for the plot. But
Yeah.
So when Joker's kind of leaning over the bridge after Batman's restrained, he makes
he's still
point
restrained
about,
by the teeth.
yeah, the teeth.
Yeah.
He makes a point about like Gordon and all the other ones being like phonies and how like this should just be him and Batman. And it's like that's what
Yeah.
Batman's been trying to say to the Bat family this whole time, and it's funny.
Yeah,
that
like
they-
don't call the cops, don't call Robin. Like this is between you and me. This is personal. And so that's kind of like an interesting take on Joker's philosophy here. He's like, listen, I hate this extended Bat family. Like I miss when it was just me and you.
Right.
Like, well, listen, there's Bat people everywhere now. Like I don't like it. Get rid of them.
Yeah, like just you and me, and it's funny because that's what Bruce has been trying to do is to keep everyone away from Joker,
Right.
Which has been playing right into Joker's hand because then he was able to pick them all off. One
Yeah,
by one.
exactly. That's why I said at the beginning, like I don't like how alienated like Bruce is from the other members of the Bat family, but it comes around at the end, so I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're at the end, and we'll get to it. Yeah, but it's heartwarming. I like
Is
it.
this Cobblepot?
Yeah, there's some backups here that I really like where he's kind of just Joker recruiting the other villains because he's
Yeah.
building something at Arkham Asylum that we're going to see later on. And there's some really good ones. Like the Penguin one is okay. I really do like the one with the Riddler later. I mean, they don't really add a lot to the story. It's just kind of world building.
Yeah.
But the one later on with the Riddler is really good because he breaks the Riddler out of his cage. And he's like, listen, Riddler, I know you always have like 50 ways out of these cells. I'm curious like how you do like under stress. And he puts like Joker toxin in the cage. And then like literally like 2 seconds later, like Nigma walks out. He's like, well, you forced my hand, but I had to use I had to choose between 3 of my successful strategies. I just went with the easiest one, which was finish digging out this tunnel I had going.
Yeah, that part was sick.
Yeah, because I like when people give a little bit of respect to the Riddler. Because
Yeah, because
with someone that ridiculous, with someone that ridiculous, every once in a while you got to remind people like, no, this guy is business.
Yeah, he can actually do shit.
Yeah.
Like he's not useless. He's
Yeah,
not fucking Jim Carrey prancing around.
He's not writing the word Gordon on the tape for
Yeah.
his clue.
See, this was something Eric alluded to was Joker's fighting ability. I mean, he just kicked Batman off a bridge.
well,
Yeah.
after he gave him Joker toxin.
Yeah, and he just crawled out of a fire.
Yeah.
But still, at the same time, yeah, Batman does get drop kicked off the bridge.
Yeah, that's some nice form. Look how high his fucking leg
oh
is.
yeah, that's a great kick. Well done.
some sweet chin music.
Black Canary would be proud.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, Batman falls into the river. This next thing that we get is kind of interesting because I think from the very beginning you kind of get the idea that something is wrong because immediately Batman just got drop kicked out of the river and he wakes up and he's fine.
Yeah.
He's like at home and all the Bat families there.
Yeah.
Damian looking extra fucking smug.
Oh yeah,
Right.
he's like, yeah,
It's
we
like,
kicked his ass.
What up,
hate
Dad?
that.
I mean, that's kind of how Damien. Hey, listen, we won't have any Damien shit talk on this podcast. I will edit you
Yeah,
out.
isn't that a Grant Morrison creation?
Damien is the man, and I will not tolerate this.
Sorry, he's a little shit stain.
I will-
Was it a Grant Morrison creation?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, he was.
Then yeah, then you better not shit talk. I don't know.
because
I don't really know
Papa Mo-
anything about Damian Wayne, but
He's a little shit stain.
But you
Grant
do
Morrison
find
is
out
my
that
Jesus.
Oh no.
you do find out that this is all a dream sequence because Alfred shows up looking ridiculous with the Joker face. He's like, "Would you like some tea?"
Yeah, Master
Oh, and
Bruce.
Joker's hair, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the green hair too, and it's a horror dream. He's not having a good time.
Yeah.
But we do, yeah. Batman eventually tells them the story here about
Yeah,
how
the blimp.
how Joker fought him on the blimp and the card got stuck on his boat, and so all the Bat family members all think that they're boned because
compromised,
Yeah,
yeah.
everyone because the Joker's going to know who they are and start messing with them, and Barbara's especially concerned because at this point. And we didn't read. We're only reading Batman 13 through 17 for this discussion, but there's a lot of tie-in issues with Batgirl, with Red Hood, with Damian, and with Selena Kyle actually.
Yeah.
And in Barbara's, Gordon. That's where Gordon was targeted originally. So she's like, he knows who I am. He's messing with me on purpose.
Yeah.
Even though that makes sense regardless.
I think Barbara and Jason definitely have the most say in the whole like, hey Bruce, the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this next issue is probably my favorite one in the whole series because this is where Batman, he's at Arkham. He's ready to take down the Joker, but Joker is ready for him here.
Oh my god, this is fucked. He's got
Yeah,
people.
those are the guards.
Yeah, he's got people dressed up as Batman and Joker just dancing.
Yeah, he's set up a whole. This is why I think this issue reminds me a lot of Arkham Asylum because he shows up at Arkham and things are just there's like things built. He's got everyone in on the little game. He's recruited all the villains to like kind of go along with it. Because we see, and this is like probably the most action-packed issue of the whole run because we even get like a nice.
Dude, yeah.
What were you saying?
Like Batman literally goes through this entire like Arkham Asylum and just bodies everyone on his way to Joker.
Yeah, there's some really cool parts where like it's really action heavy, but I love it.
That part's awesome.
And there's even like a flaming horse that runs through the asylum at some
Yep.
point. I
So
guess
that shot is amazing. The lead up shot to it,
Oh yeah.
like that fucking anticipation of like it's just fucking.
Oh, it's great.
Bruce has this look on his face like the fuck is that? Because you just see this orange light. Everything's been black and white basically.
Yeah, the Batman with just white eyes and the blackness that always looks really good.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then he's got the eyebrow raised.
Yeah, and all
What
of a
the
sudden you
fuck
see.
is that?
Yeah, and then again, so they've made sure to show that there's barely any color on this page, and then you just get that shot of the fucking horse. Just
Yep, and Batman's like the fuck, and then you also get a really cool shot of like just flaming swords going up, and then you see it's like a whole army of guards with riot gear and flaming swords, and Batman has. I even wrote this part down because it's amazing. He's like, "Well, come on then," and then the next page is just no dialogue, straight up combat, just all between all of them, and he takes all of them at once. It's a classic Batman moment.
Yeah.
Like that's some Arkham Asylum like fighting.
He had a
game
50
right there.
combo going at least.
Oh yeah.
He even made sure to jump over those shield guys.
Yep. Yeah, you got to jump over and then slam down.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
He had all the upgrades.
Yeah.
The part after that is the part I really like, and he gets on that not the flaming horse. I don't think. 'Cause I
No,
think
it's
that
a
one-
different one.
We actually looked up because someone
Yeah.
else, another guy comes running in
Previous
on that horse.
panel, yeah, he
yeah,
comes
this guy
charging
comes,
in.
yeah, comes in on the horse,
And
so
so-
a different horse, and then he's just on it,
He
like
just plops on it like
Yeah.
let's go, buddy.
Come on now.
And so he rides the horse through the asylum into the next scene, which is kind of where he starts fighting like one by one of all of his rogue gallery, which is
Yeah.
really cool. Because like it just shows him like very quickly countering all of them. It's like I don't have time for this. Here's
Yeah,
your counter.
exactly.
Here's your counter.
yeah, that's what's cool about that is it shows the importance of who we're dealing with. Because like, don't get me wrong, all of his, it kind of is it's kind of burying a lot of his villains, but it's like. It's for Joker.
Yeah.
So it like if you were ever going to do this, this is who you build it up to.
Right.
So yeah, he takes out Freeze. Gordon shows up, and Batman immediately is just like, no, it's fucking Clayface.
Yep.
He's got a way to deal with him. Then Scarecrow shows up,
And he's like,
dude, Crane-
I have a rebreather.
yeah,
Next.
Crane, yeah, Crane, fuck off.
He's like, listen, I gas doesn't
Literally
affect me.
shoves his fucking. What does he do? He puts his hand like into his
He
mouth,
gives him like a karate chop to the mouth.
and then he jams him into the wall, denting it.
That would kill a man.
That's a concussion at the
easy.
least.
Yeah, I would say that Scarecrow's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks at least.
Yeah, he's got Really, like, someone's got to watch over him when he sleeps.
Yep, but then we get the
God.
next panel, and like I said, he's gotten most of the villains to go along with his little scheme because we get all of the rogue gallery and nice, cool little hats.
Yeah, the penguin in that poke hat is so cute.
Riddler's like, no, I'm wearing my own hat.
Yeah.
But then Harvey's always willing to throw
He's
in
got
a
that
judge.
George Washington like judge kind of
Yep.
wig.
Joker with his jester hat. I like it. It's a nice little touch.
Yeah, and then he did dress up some poor victims as the Justice League, who he's planning on murdering next. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where we set up like the cliffhanger here, because Batman's like, Joker, like leave these people out of it. Like these villains they have nothing to do with it. It's just between us.
They're all sitting here. They're like, oh, sit down, my king. Bad clown. Blah, blah, blah. And we're like, where are they? What have you done to them? And he's just like, sit down and you'll find out. Fight your destiny. You'll never find a single trace of any of them ever. You'll grow old wondering what happened to them, what I did to each one. And then he's just like, now sit your ass down.
That's the second time Joker's sworn in this, because there's a part that we went over earlier where he's like, listen, all of you are little bitches. I'm like, whoa, Joker. You've lost your golden age charm.
Right.
You're getting vulgar. Watch your language, son.
Like his lips are falling apart during that too. God, his face is all yellow here too. It's
Yeah.
gross.
So Joker ends up showing Batman a video of like all the Bat family getting messed up and captured, which happens in the tie-in comics that we're skipping over. But
Yeah.
that's all you need to know. They've been captured. And so Batman, he's like, Batman, sit in your chair and get ready for our fun times, or else they're all dead.
It's an electric chair, by the way, so
Yeah.
people know at home.
Yeah, he's gonna sit in an electric chair, even put the strappy thing onto his head.
See you on the flip side. God,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
It's funny. I like when Joker has actual jokes.
Right.
And then he gets shocked, but it must not be an actual electric chair because he's fine. It must just be a little shock.
Well, he just gave him a little. Well,
Just
he
a little
was,
one.
He was still foaming at the mouth and bleeding out of
I was
his
gonna
nose.
say maybe it's the suit that's helping him.
I was gonna
survive
say
it.
I feel like it.
Oh, that could be it. He's got some kind of
rubber.
resistance.
It's like rubber.
That's
so-
fair. And then we do see the reveal of Batman wakes up after he's in his chair and he sees that, Joker set up like a nice little dinner. I'm pretty sure in the same cave line that the Batcave is in.
And I'm happy
Yep.
Joker's finally in his purple and green, wearing a nice black undershirt.
If it wasn't for the face, he would look like exactly like classic Joker right here.
Yep.
But we do see all of the Bat members. They're all sitting at the table, restrained with hoods over their heads, so we don't know what's going on, and they all have like a special dish.
One thing I do want to point out is I really like when Joker wears a black undershirt. He does it in The Killing Joke. He does here. It's very rare he does.
Is that rare? I thought
No, it's
you might be
usually-
right. Yeah,
It's usually purple.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
usually like
yeah.
green.
the black does look better.
Yeah, I
black,
like
green, and purple. Yeah,
I like when they don't have the yellow or orange accent. It's just a nice little touch.
yeah, it's a nice little tricolored. Yeah, it works pretty well. I like it. It's good design.
Yeah.
But we get the setup. You're kind of wondering, like, oh, what's on the dishes? Like, why is there hoods over all their faces? Like, what's going on? And he's kind of tormenting him with like what he might have done with the Bat family. A little bit kind of like teasing him, like, oh, you didn't trust him, and they all got captured on their own. Like, this is your fuck up. And so then we get Alfred Pennyworth, who comes in with his he's been Jokerized, so he's Joker Pennyworth, and he's got a big old grin on his face.
He looks terrifying.
So he's here to serve
He
the
looks
main
like the guy
course.
from Phantasm.
Bruce's lips too in that shot. My God.
Yeah, because he's I'm guessing on like not doing well, so he's kind of got no color,
Yeah.
Yeah, not great.
and his mask is kind of messed up too.
Yeah, like the one part looks like it's a little like broken. Oh God, everyone looks so horrified.
Yeah, this is where we get to probably the most horror movie part of the whole series.
Yeah,
because-
when I first read this, I was pretty shocked.
Yeah,
I was
I can
like, There's no
imagine.
way.
and it's very shocking, but almost to the point where you're like, they're
no
going
way.
to go
There's-
back from
yeah,
this.
There's no way it happened.
Because just to get it out there, they open up the cases on the table, and it's all their own faces.
yeah.
Yeah, so like Joker makes everyone think that he did to them what happened. Yeah, and first off, whoever made those for him, kudos, 'cause they did a great
Oh,
job.
hell
Yeah,
of a
because if
job.
those, I'll tell you everyone right now, they didn't actually get their faces cut off.
Yeah, they
I'm assuming you figured that out.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem with this, is it's too extreme for you to think even for a second that this is what happened.
Exactly, yeah.
Like if they had done it with one character, like do it with like Jason.
Yeah.
Like just because then I'm like, oh, maybe
no
they
one's
did.
gonna believe that they cut off Damian Wayne's face.
Yeah, like
Barbara
a little kid
Gordon.
or Barbara. Yeah,
I think Dick or Jason
or
would've been-
Dick, any of those
I think
three.
Dick would have been a very impactful one. 'Cause
Yeah,
Dick
would've.
hasn't had anything big happen with him with Joker. Like obviously he's fallen.
Yeah, I mean, I think any one character, it would have been more believable. I
Yeah.
probably still wouldn't have
or
bought
even
it.
Alfred's face.
That would have been,
Yeah.
that would have been better.
I would have believed that because then Alfred having to be all like surgically fucking.
But I mean, even if you know that they're going to come back from it, it's still
oh
pretty
yeah, no,
freaky
it's
looking.
still every time you see it, you're just like, oh god.
Yeah.
And even just to make them think that, like, if you're thinking about it in the context of the characters, like that's a
Oh, yeah.
messed up plan.
Exactly. Yeah. If I woke up with bandages around my face and what appeared to be my face on a dish,
Well,
I'd
he
be pretty
probably he probably did something like cutting their faces too, just or like something kind of sensation on their face to
Well,
make
just
it
having the
hurt.
bandages on it.
Yeah, he did numb all of their faces so that way they wouldn't know that they.
Oh, he
didn't-
specifically said he numbed them?
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Gotcha.
when Damien comes back at the end, he's like,
He can't feel it.
Yeah, he's like, I can take it, Father. Don't worry, just tell me because my face is numb.
Yeah.
Because Damien is just like badass. He doesn't care.
Right.
He's like, I don't have a face. I don't care. Just tell me. I don't need a face. I fight crime.
Yeah. Wear the
My
mask
face is
anyway.
crime.
Exactly.
Yeah, see, I don't like this. Okay, so to talk about stuff I don't like in Joker's dialogue, there's a lot in this scene. So he's sitting there kind of leaning up on the
It comes
table.
up at the end too.
Yeah, and he's like, that's so, like how the greatest detective never found out who I really was before my becoming. I don't like him talking about that.
Well, yeah, the Joker. Why would he care? Like, why would he, I don't even know why Batman would care. What does that give you?
Yeah.
Shall we? The black shuriken heart beat.
Because that's one thing that comes up even in later runs of Batman, like when Batman sits on the Mobius chair and is like, "Who is the Joker?" I'm like, that's the one question you ask this chair that knows everything.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who the Joker is.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the whole point of
Yeah.
the Joker.
What
And
would that
it-
change?
And even
Yeah.
in Joker's mind, who he used to be is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Sometimes I remember it one way, sometimes I remember another.
Yep.
Also, his next thing he says right at the end of this is, "Why have you never killed me? Because you'd win." And I hate his response. I love that one. Ooh, right, because I'd win. No, see, this is how I win, Bats. I win by lying, by keep.
No, I
by
win by
keep on
living,
keep-
by
yeah.
keeping doing. Like he's
Yeah.
basically saying, you not killing me is me winning.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing is that Batman's still right because they're basically saying the whole philosophical debate is meaningless, but it's not. The whole point of these two characters is all lives matter versus
Well,
no
they do
lives
kind of
matter.
come back from that late because Batman brings up this conversation later on in the fight, and he's
Yeah.
like, you know what? I've been thinking about it. Why I don't kill you, and there is a reason.
But
Yeah.
but I don't like that they discredit what he just said is that you'd win because like I just said, all lives matter versus no lives matter. That is both of their philosophies.
Mm-hmm.
So if you kill Joker, you're proving that his life doesn't matter because you're trying to save other lives. But if one life doesn't matter compared to those lives you're saving,
Well,
then,
part of this might also be Joker just trying to get under Bruce's skin,
Yeah.
and be like, well, don't you want to reconsider? I'm making
Yeah.
some good points.
Exactly.
Yeah.
it's so that you don't do it because I'd
Because
win.
he wants him to kill him.
You tell yourself,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. So he's saying
I
like
guess.
anything that'll work. I don't know
Yeah.
if he actually believes what he's saying more than just it's what the right thing to say to get to Bruce right now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. Because I don't like that. I hope that's not what he believes.
Because I don't think, it's like, because Joker's never a reliable narrator, or what you're saying you can never take at face value.
Yeah.
Because this kind of does go on for a little bit until Batman just kind of, I'm remembering this now.
Well,
Because
it was he poured gasoline on all of them, and then
He's like,
on
if
the
you
chair,
move, yeah.
on the chair he set up flints, so if he got up, then the flints would go off, setting him all on fire. So then, he ends up getting up, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, he just set all of them on fire, but then he pulls out the old Batman. quick.
Right. It's like, listen, Joker, you got to think a little bit harder about this. You're not going to just tie me to a wooden chair.
Yeah.
And so they do get out. It does kind of look like they're starting to burn alive. It does not look good.
That shot of the Joker with his hands folded, looking
Right.
at them all burning.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is working out
like,
better than I thought.
It's horrifying.
Yeah, but then Batman's like, listen, I have a plan. Like, I know where we are. We're in these caves. Like, this is the Bat Cave. Like,
Yeah.
I know my way around here. And so he knows that there's a lake right above this section of the cave. And so he uses
Still don't.
explosives to. But this would cause
That's
a
a
cave
bad
in, I think.
plan.
Oh yeah.
And now
everyone's
kill all of them.
Yeah, now they're all drowning.
They're all going to drown and be caved in.
Yeah, this works out really well in his favor because the water pours in enough to put out the fire and then stops.
Yeah. And then perfectly stops.
So great plan. I mean, I don't know how you thought of it. But
Yeah.
I know there's one little patch of water, not too much,
Yeah,
but there
just
is.
the right amount.
I always knew it was here too. And then we do get this part where, because the first person Bruce goes to obviously is Damien.
Damien, yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, oh my God, this guy just cut my son's face off. And so he's like, and then Damien, like I said, he's grown. He's a grown up in a little boy's body because he's like, I can take it, Father. Don't worry. Like, I'm a warrior.
Yeah.
And then like Batman's like, oh God, get ready. And he's like, oh no, you're fine. And then they hug. Oh, it's so good. Because like the whole New 52 kind of slowly builds up, like Damien becoming like a jerk, and then like he starts out as a jerk and then slowly
So
learns
they
to
do,
become
they do
warmer.
the God of War thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because Damien was like raised as like an assassin.
He's like a cocky asshole, and then he gets humbled.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like humbled, and then not only that, but he realizes like I can love people and be loved, and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
God, look at Alfred still. He's still fucked.
Alfred,
Yeah, right.
Nobody's helped Alfred yet. He's still just kind of smiling, like
Yeah.
enjoying all this because he's still on the Joker toxin.
God, I don't like Red Nightwing.
Yeah, I don't either,
Yeah,
but
me neither.
He should always be blue.
I don't think we're in the minority there.
Yeah.
No.
But then Batman at this point is kind of like feeling bad about abandoning all of them. So he's like, I'm not leaving you guys for even a second. And then
Yeah.
Dick Grayson's like, no, just go be Batman. Like, he's getting away. Go get him. And so Batman leaves, and then immediately the Bat family gets screwed over because they all get Joker toxin because this freaky cat has a bomb on his face,
Yeah, he like replaced one of the heads with like a bomb.
which is okay. but it's messed up. But
It's a little over the top.
Tick, 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 and then it goes foom, not boom. It goes foom because it's a gas bomb.
Yeah.
And they all get Jokerized and start fighting each other. And Batman has his confrontation with the Joker later on. And Joker's like, listen, they're all getting Joker bombed. Like, don't you want to go back and fight them
Yeah,
and
they're
help them
tearing
out?
themselves apart.
And then Batman, this is kind of where we get that turnaround where he's like, no, I trust them. Like,
Yeah.
they can handle their own. Like, I'm doing my thing. I'm doing them. And
They can handle a bad trip, man.
I train them all with doses of LSD.
Right.
And so the Joker's plan was probably just to have Batman go back and save them and then get away.
Yeah.
But Batman's not going to have that. He's going to keep fighting. And then we do have that moment I talked about after that.
I love that. A dance then.
Yeah.
Like Joker knows he's not winning this fight, but he's still like, well, if that's what we're doing.
And then Batman has none of his nonsense. He's like, no more dances.
Yeah.
Yep.
Literally breaking that face apart.
And so with the Bat
This
family,
part's horrifying.
yeah, the Bat family is all on Joker gas fighting each other, and so you're kind of wondering, like, Bruce, maybe they do need your help,
Yeah,
because
it's
they're
like-
kind of getting messed up.
Yep.
But then Alfred kind of brings them all back, and he's like, through the laughing, you can hear it. He's like, no, like stop.
They're like slowly breaking
And
through.
they can kind of like get code through the laughing, and then they
Yeah.
all kind of just like start hugging.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, let's just laugh together.
Let's just all lay down and chill, man.
yeah,
Let's just breathe.
Let's all just laugh together.
Just
I like
ride
that
it
little
out.
bit of like fighting too. You see like Damian using resources like he was like
He's going all out. Yeah.
oh yeah, and then like also but Tim being like the strategist of the group, like Smart comes up behind him with a fucking chair, like my god,
Not the chair.
my god, he's broken him in half. It's a WWE shit, I love it.
Right.
Oh yeah, and there's a great part where the Joker, like him and Batman are fighting, and Joker almost slips and falls down.
Yeah.
And this is one thing that I don't like about, if we can just digress for a minute, Batman Begins, where he just lets Ra's al Ghul die.
Right.
Batman wouldn't do that.
No.
This is Batman right here, where
Yep.
Joker's about to slip, and he grabs him. He's like, not by accident, Joker. Not
Yeah.
like that. It's great, because he's like, listen, not saving you is murder, so
And
I'm
then
not
he
doing that
says,
either.
everything that happens to you tonight happens by my hand.
That's a
Right.
badass way to save someone's life.
Although it's a little fucked up too.
Joker would just be like, oh no.
Yeah.
No,
No,
you're
it's
right.
good.
That probably gave him such a hard bone. He's like, finally. Yeah, this part's awesome.
So this is where we come back to where the part that he wasn't telling the Bat family earlier, because the Bat family kept asking him, like, well, how are you so sure
Yeah, how are you so
that the
positive?
Joker never got in here? And this
Yeah.
is where he explains it just when him and Joker are having this private moment.
Yeah.
And he's like, I knew you didn't come in here because you don't want to know who I am.
Exactly. That would spoil the secret.
Right. You like playing the game, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't care about Bruce Wayne or about my secret identity. You want to fight the Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
gets
mean,
away.
Batman does save Joker's life, but then Joker does his own thing where he's like, no, and
Yeah,
then
he's like,
stabs him
"Fuck
in the
you."
hand, and he's like, no, and he falls down. His face goes flying off. So I'm sure he's fine. There's no way he'd ever survive that, but I'm sure he's fine.
It's
Yeah.
the,
It's the
Joker's
Joker. He's
superpower.
fine. Yeah, he always survives.
And so, what was the whole thing with that little book? Because he's saying that was his secrets, but like there was actually nothing in it.
Yeah, so he was lying.
Yeah.
That was that issue.
Yeah, I mean, that was when I first went into it, all I really knew about was Joker with his face cut off, and I knew about the thing at the end because I had read some of the tie-in issues before. But it was better than I expected. I really liked how the Joker was written in this one and like the whole relationship.
Again, the ending bugs me, but when you recontextualize it with what you said, with like he's just fucking with Bruce instead of that, I don't know the way.
I guess it depends on how seriously you take what he's saying.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
if you take it seriously, I don't like it. I don't like that take on him, like that he's like actually.
Yeah, the voice isn't 100% consistent, but I think at least for the first 4 issues, I think it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to know.
Yeah,
Just like whenever Joker's like making it personal, it's like really fun.
yeah.
I don't know if fun's the right word. It's,
Yeah,
it's interesting to read. All right, but that does it for the Joker. I think after this, we will be moving on to some mail. All right, buddy, and we are here with our first mail section of the Agents of Comic Book podcast. We announced that we were going to start doing some mail. Like I said at the top of the podcast, if you want us to read anything, just send it to agentsofpodcast@gmail.com. We have 2 mails for today. Our first one comes from Shadowplayer56. He kept it short and sweet, but he's got a good question here. It's he said, just wanted to say congrats on the upcoming podcast, and he can't wait. He butchering your email. He said, just wanted to
go.
say congrats on the upcoming podcast, and I can't wait for more. My question is, what are your recommended comics by DC and Marvel? And that's from Shadowplayer56.
How many?
Yeah.
I mean, let's keep it. Let's say 3 at most.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll start us off for DC. I would say my number 1 recommendation is probably Gotham Central, which is by Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka, who were like 2 of the best writers, and it's just basically the Gotham PD. It's all about them, and like there's very little Batman. He just shows up as like kind of this like mystery, which is really cool, and it's just them kind of dealing with crime in Gotham. It's like The Wire. It's awesome.
Damn, yeah.
I'll do one each. For Marvel, I would say my most recommended run would be. Ooh, that's a tough one.
Well, it's hard to go wrong with Amazing Spider-Man. Honestly, just jumping into.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I mean, like that's like if you want
Do
something
you have,
nice.
do you have a particular Spider-Man run?
Nah, that's the thing. I kind of just jump in from time to time.
Well, you've
and
read
just-
Ultimate Spider-Man, right?
I've read a lot of Ultimate
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
okay.
I still think Amazing's a little bit better. I like 616 Peter.
So I'm guessing you're talking about the Dan Slott stuff mostly. That's a lot of the modern Spider-Man.
Yeah, a
Probably.
lot of that's good. I feel like if you want something safe on the Marvel side, going with Spider-Man is never going to be like he's rarely written badly. He's written from like average to great. Like it's never bad. I feel.
That's where my recommendation was going to go, because my recommendation is the Brian Michael Bendis run of Daredevil, which I think is one of the best Marvel runs ever written. You can't go wrong with pretty much any Daredevil book, but I think that's a really good place to start. And then you can go back and read Frank Miller, but I think you should start at Bendis.
For me, DC, we're gonna actually talk about that coming up. Is The Killing Joke?
There you go.
It's, it's short.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Yeah, and then for Marvel, I've been enjoying Spider-Gwen. I like
nice.
her run. And
The Jason Latour run.
the first
yeah,
one, yeah. And I'm
right.
about to read the second one. So
The Ghost Spider stuff, I don't know how I feel about it. It's kind of boring, but you can let me know.
yeah, I'll read.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. I think the
even know.
world's super interesting, and I'm hoping that the next Into the Spider-Verse.
But that's kind of the problem, is they're trying to take Gwen, at least in the modern comics, they're trying to take her into the 616, and like her world is like the only thing that makes any of that interesting. So I'm like, you're taking away her one thing.
I mean,
I don't know.
I like her as a character.
Well, I don't know how evident we've made this or how much I've talked about it, but I'm kind of the runt of the litter. I'm kind of a comics noob.
Oh no, that's the whole concept of this podcast.
Yeah,
I wanted
so
to have someone who was just getting into it, so we got
I'm,
some good.
I'm still pretty green when it comes to this stuff.
but
So,
out of what you've read so far,
I mean, what I've been reading recently is the Doom Patrol, the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol.
Oh,
run,
yeah, you're pretty
obviously,
far into that.
because, Yeah, I'm on volume 2. Almost done with that one. So obviously the show came out this year, so I've been.
oh yeah,
hooked
we'll
on
both
that.
wreck that book. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, Doom Patrol.
I'll stand the shit out of
hands
that
down is
Grant Morrison
awesome.
run.
And that basically find anything by Grant Morrison and read it.
Oh, yeah.
That's all.
No,
I'm
he's
gonna say.
solid.
And
We're-
then
we're all Grant
Marvel.
Morrison
I
fans
mean,
here.
shit. Reading material, not a lot. I've read a little bit of the Jason Aaron Thor. I mean, I love obviously Southern Bastards and anything by Jason
Southern Bastards
Aaron.
is a good rec. I guess it doesn't. He said Marvel or DC, but
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Anything Marvel.
Watch yourself,
'cause
counselor.
Just Jason Aaron. He's doing Thor obviously right now, and then
He's wrapping.
War of the Realms.
He's wrapping up his Thor run. I'm pretty sure it's over now.
Okay.
He's doing the Avengers still though.
But yeah, I'm sure that's great.
There's that Venom run recently too. That's been real good.
Oh,
I'm still. You keep pushing me to read it.
Everyone should read Donny Cates' Venom. It's great.
Yeah. Okay,
So
know
I will
him.
recommend that too.
I know that name.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that was Shadow Player.
I think that was Shadow Player 56. I think we had one other piece as well.
Yeah. So I asked people on iFunny, and I got what I can only describe as the best question.
Yeah.
All right, I'm nervous,
But
but
it's
hit
Joker
me.
themed. It's
Okay.
Joker themed.
because
It
if this
fits.
is coming from iFunny, I'm a little concerned.
All right. And I'm gonna take this as the live action Jokers.
Okay.
Which Joker? Oh, how they've put it was this is from Star-Lord. No space, no anything. That's
Okay.
a pretty prime name for them. Good
Yeah.
That's
job.
Star Lord.
Yeah. Debate which Joker has the biggest penis.
Oh God.
All right, let's think about this for a second. So
I don't know if
Caesar
this is-
Romano.
I don't know if this
Jack-
is productive discourse.
We got Heath Ledger, Jared Leto, and Joaquin Phoenix. We got the 5 of them. All right.
Shit.
We all agree it's not Jared Leto.
No. God,
his
no.
I don't know
Joker.
if this question needs to be answered.
At
No,
least-
at
least-
least debate it, damn it.
I at
That's
least
what we-
I don't.
I
want
said
it
we
to
would
be
read any
I
fan
don't want
mail.
it to be Jared Leto.
I'm starting to regret
I
this.
hope.
Read any
I hope
fan.
it's Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson.
Am I going to regret
Well, no, we're
reading any fan mail on this podcast?
I think these are the questions that need to be answered.
Oh, actually,
they?
I just got another one literally like 4 minutes ago.
Oh, good timing.
Really?
Yeah, from someone named Howlett.
Okay.
Which Joker voice
This should be a better question, Howlett. I'm expecting better.
There's a bit of a grammar thing here, but that's okay. Which Joker voice actors stand out to you and why, no matter the role? Whether it's Mark Hamill, Mike.
Oh,
Emerson,
good
John
question. I
Hodgman.
was going to bring this up anyway, actually. Because what do you guys think are the best portrayals of the Joker? Give me your top 3.
Well, it's obviously I think Mark
Animation and
Arkham.
movies.
Hamill. Oh, okay, okay.
Arkham video.
We'll
games.
rank them by actors.
Well, I mean, Mark Hamill.
Because Mark Hamill is Arkham and DC Universe. I'll consider that one character.
I don't.
I don't know if you can do that.
okay.
I would take
Fair.
the DCAU
I've been outvoted.
and I would take the Arkham Hamill. But if you're talking the full package, like design, character, like how he's characterized,
Yeah.
how he's portrayed, how he's acted. Mark Hamill's Arkham Joker is number 1. Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh, so you'd put Mark Hamill's in Arkham over Mark Hamill in the show?
just because of
Okay.
characterization. He can do a little bit more.
It's a little more of
He was
a-
censored in
You're right.
the
It's
animated.
not a kid's cartoon.
Just
yeah.
cut out him turning into the Incredible Hulk at the end of Arkham Asylum. It's like the perfect Joker.
Exactly.
Yeah, that whole part was just not necessary.
Heath
No.
Ledger's Joker's
Just have him
number
fight
2.
Bane.
Exactly.
Yeah, Heath Ledger's Joker's number 2.
Okay.
And then for me, number 3 is Troy Baker's Arkham Origins Joker.
I was gonna throw Joe Baker,
Troy Baker.
Troy Baker in there.
I
Yeah, no,
love that
I loved it.
design. I love his weird accent gives that Joker a really unique tone that I think makes him feel almost otherworldly. That like it just
Yeah.
fits. And like
I mean, he's basically doing Hamill, but I mean, everyone's just doing Joker anyway, so it's fine to do that.
well,
yeah.
that's I got in an argument with someone who's like, "Oh, Troy Baker's Joker isn't that good because it's just a Mark Hamill impression." I'm like,
That
"But you
doesn't
think
make it
Mark
not
Hamill's-"
good.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Mark Hamill's is the best. It's like when you listen to someone play classical music. It's like, yeah, they didn't write it, but they're playing it like perfectly.
Yeah,
It
what
sounds
would
great.
happen if he just came out and did a totally
He's
different
just
voice?
like, I'm the Joker.
And it's supposed to fit in that universe.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
Like that
it's
Joker
a continuation.
is supposed to be the one that turns into the Mark Hamill one.
You
Well, yeah,
can't do it any other way.
Yeah.
When he's done Joker a couple other times, like in Assault on Arkham, and
Yeah.
there's like a animated one he did as
Yeah.
well for a short thing. He's done it again, and he does that voice, and it's like, but we all agree that Mark Hamill's Joker voice is the Joker's voice.
Yeah.
So why would you do something different?
It's the hallmark.
For me, I think I would go. If I have to separate them, then my top 3 is just going to end up being
yeah,
Hamill,
so actually
Hamill.
combine them so it's not Hamill.
It's going to be
just
Hamill,
combine
Hamill, Troy then, and that's not
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I would say Hamill number 1. I would put Troy at number 2, which I thought was going to be a hot take, but I think you guys agree with me. I guess
I'm on the same.
I thought that
boat.
would be a hot take.
put him at number 3
and then I would put
personally.
Ledger at 3.
Alright.
But yeah, so Eric, did you rank your 3?
Yeah, he was the same. As
Oh,
It'd
it was the
be
same as mine.
Hamill, Troy.
So I think we're all
Ledger.
pretty similar.
You
Although,
guys,
okay,
you guys put Troy above
No,
Ledger?
I'll go Hamill, Ledger, Troy.
I did put. That's why I thought it
Putting
was
Troy
a hot
above
take.
Ledger's a hot take.
Yeah, I think
Well,
Ledger-
only because I just like classic Joker better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think Ledger's performance is like one of the best.
It probably is objectively better.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's just like the little details and everything too. It's like, don't get me wrong. I think if we got more of that Troy Baker Joker, like if they just kind of definitively made him the new
Yeah,
Joker,
there's
like
a
Mark
bigger
Hamill
sample
was.
size.
Like, yeah, well, with Heath Ledger's, it's like it's a full performance. It's a full movie. It was exactly, I don't know. It just feels complete. Where Troy
Oh, yeah.
Baker's, I feel like there's still more out there that he could be like he
Yeah.
could do. There's like
Though
more
they should
refinement.
have cast him again because he didn't show up as the Joker ever again since then.
No.
Well, he's been like a couple things.
Has
like,
he?
You know, just little side things.
Okay, interesting. But
Yeah.
he should. You're right. It should be more.
Like I wanted him to be the Joker in Injustice, and then instead they based it off Jared Leto's fucking Joker.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah, and yeah, that panned out. well.
That is not going to it's not going to stand the test of time.
Yeah, I heard Warner Brothers didn't dump that like a fucking pile of bricks.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, he's done.
But just like him being gone, this mail section is now over. So that'll do it for me. Again, if you want to send us anything, we will read it, even if your question is about Batman dicks or Joker dicks.
Joker dicks.
I mean, we might not answer it, but we'll read it.
Hot take.
I'll answer it.
Hot take. Caesar Romano's Joker has the biggest dick. I said it.
Well,
He's got the biggest
best
mustache.
yeah. Too good to shave.
But that'll do it for our mail section. After this, we will be going to the Killing Joke. All right, we are back with the Killing Joke, which is, we're actually doing 2 books today because we're giving you a little bit extra this time, just because it's a one-off. We wanted to get some ground covered here.
Well, yeah, and it's like I don't know.
And what are you gonna do? Not cover the Killing Joke?
Yeah, you bring me on
Yeah.
to cover Joker
Yeah.
stuff. It's like let's talk about the Killing Joke.
And say the Killing Joke. I'm sure this book has been talked about over and over and over again, so we don't want to I guess do too redundant of a deep dive, but we do have some stuff to talk about with this comic.
Okay,
yeah.
so first thing I want to point out here is I do love this walkthrough Arkham. I do love that we get to see Two-Face and who is this here? That's thing to point out again. First panel is the rain and the ground. That's important because that comes up. We get
It
the
comes
lights.
full circle.
Yeah. And that's actually the whole theme of this comic. So we're gonna talk
Right,
about that.
the repetitive nature of their relationship. Yeah.
The cycle. So, and then the first lines spoken are, there were these 2 guys in a lunatic asylum. That is, if you know the ending, the beginning of the joke, Joker tells that.
Yep.
yeah.
So that's,
So it's just set up. Yeah.
it's all set
It's really
up.
good
And-
setup. Yeah.
And thinking about this whole scene symbolically, again,
So the scene we're talking about is Batman's going into the jail cell to interrogate the Joker,
Yes.
and it turns out that it's just a stand-in. It's some guy who's had his face painted.
So Batman here is giving that speech of I've been thinking a lot lately about you, about me, and how we're gonna kill each other. Basically, like that's the whole gist of this. Like the whole thing is he's talking about how their cycle is never ending, but it's going to hit a crescendo. It's going to hit that boiling.
It's
over
going to
point
escalate to something.
to where
Yeah.
one of them kills each other,
Mm-hmm.
and it's to a fake Joker. It's symbolic for the fact that this plea is falling on like
It would have either way, right?
It's like even if Joker was there, he's not
Yeah.
there
Mhm.
to hear this.
Yeah,
He's
it's
not-
all a wasted attempt.
yeah, he's not hearing
Mm-hmm.
what Batman is saying, literally, but also like figuratively. He's not hearing that cry to end the cycle.
Yeah, and he
Because
never
Joker
will.
in this comic is about to push the cycle where it's never been before. And God, Brian Boland's art.
Oh, it's fantastic. He draws the best Joker.
This is the best comic book looking Joker.
By far.
That's why I love Arkham Origins Joker so much, because it's basically this Joker just a little bit more modernized with like the scars.
Yeah, because we do find out where the actual Joker is, and this is a part that I thought was funny because Joker's just kind of off. He's buying a theme park, which I guess from money he's stolen. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I love this guy who is trying to sell the theme park though, because he has to know who this is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This isn't year one.
Yeah,
The Joker is a person he knows.
Yeah, this is like right before Barbara gets paralyzed. So like Nightwing's probably a thing. So like Batman and Robin have been going for a bit.
Yeah. So this guy's like, oh, this is the Joker. And maybe he'll buy it. This seems like a Joker thing.
And you know that this guy knows that this theme park is going to be turned into a murder factory.
Oh, yeah,
he's all on board.
He's just like, I'm gonna take my money and go.
Yeah, show me that money.
Well, and here's the thing too: is I love this intro too. It's like it's garnished, it's ugly. It's like everything. Like it looks like. Well, like
he tells him he's gonna kill people here.
He's like, yeah, it's like everything looks lethal. He's like, oh, you don't like it, and then you get this one of my favorite pictures of Joker. He's just so fucking happy.
Yeah.
He looks so human here, and that's the thing I love about Boland is he can make Joker look human, and then he can make him look not.
Yeah, panel to panel differences is good because a lot of artists will draw the character the same way the whole time, but it depends on the scene.
Yeah.
Quick thing too, we were looking at the version on the not the DC. It was
Oh yeah, we're reading the recolored modern version.
Yeah, the
so
recolored modern version. I like the old one because it gives this whole thing like this serene.
I think they should both be read.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're both. Yeah, one gives it like a more otherworldly feel, where this one is just so crisp.
Yeah, they're both very different though, so they both accomplish different things. So
Yeah.
I think you should read them both.
Yeah.
Because the original coloring is really good too.
Oh,
it's not bad. Like they didn't recolor it because it was bad. It's awesome. It's got these really cool.
I was telling Luke, it's kind of like a cyberpunk or
Yeah.
like a Blade Runner.
It's like a lot of purples,
like
a lot of neon colors, and it works. It's at a circus too.
Yeah.
So it's like those lights might be occurring naturally.
Yeah, there's a couple different versions of him up there. I like that. Oh, and here comes the
big... and after that, here's the big setup for the story because this is the part where Barbara and
her dad are hanging out. She like had plans with a friend, but she's like, I'm gonna go see my dad.
Yep.
Lucky for Joker, she was there. Did he know?
I don't know if she actually had plans with a friend. I think she was gonna go be Batgirl. Yeah, this is where Joker kind of goes through. This happens for a few pages where he's just tormenting Gordon through all these different things. He's got these little babies that he's dragging, just trying to draw him crazy.
He's got a bunch of
disturbing.
he's got a bunch of he's got like the Siamese twins who are connected at the hip.
Yeah,
he's got
like
like
a
the
freak
two-headed
show.
babies.
All the circus freaks have, I guess, teamed up to help him for some reason.
Yeah, and Jim Gordon's like naked, being pulled by his neck, and they're like down. And Joker's got this like weird baby.
Yeah, it's like a baby doll like parts mountain.
Yeah, it's like a toy throne, like a doll throne. And he's sitting on top of it. That's probably a really iconic Joker picture of him just sitting on the throne with his hat tipped.
With that and with that
line.
line, yeah, because it's like, please tell me what I'm doing here, and it's like, you're doing what any sane person in your appalling circumstances would do. You're going mad.
And yeah, and that's kind of the whole point of his plot here is because
yeah, exactly. It's that like he's just proving that everyone else is like him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, Joker's whole thing is like escaping, like, don't even think about it, just go crazy because it's easier. Yeah.
God,
yeah, this is when Gordon kind of goes through torture. It's where he's like being tortured with like, I shot, Barbara and took a bunch of pictures and then so he's going through a really bad time and then we finally get Batman coming up on the scene.
Yeah, and finally Batman's like he's doing Batman work. Like he's finding Joker.
And it's cool. It's another part where there's no dialogue. It's just you see him and you know what he's doing. Like you don't need dialogue.
Like, dude, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, they do kind of go through like a fight kind of. Joker's telling him like the way your philosophy kind of infuriates me, like you trying to make sense of the world. Like I hate this about you.
Yeah, and
like, I'm trying to prove a point here.
Yeah, it's like and something happened to you. I can tell something like that happened to me. Sometimes I remember one way, sometimes I remember it another. If I'm gonna have a past, I prefer it to be multiple choice.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's a good line.
And then you get this beautiful ending. It's like, do you know what triggered the last World War? An argument over how many telegraph poles Germany owned its war debt creditors. Telegraph poles. He's laughing. I'm like, that's more just a reference to that. But it's like, it's all a joke. Everything anyone ever valued or struggles for, it's all a monstrous, demented gag. And the reason he feels like that is because at the end, everyone's gonna die anyway.
Yeah, it's like escapism.
And no one's gonna remember anything. So what's the point of putting value in any of it? But he looks so human here as he's like, so why can't you see the funny side? Batman just absolutely brutalizes him.
Yeah, it's a classic Joker Batman fight.
And I
like,
love how
Joker's
it
hanging
ends.
on his bed as good as he can.
And Joker's like, he's got this like look on his face, like, aha, I got you, I got this gun, and then like bang, he's like, God damn it,
And he finds it like almost funny. He's like, oh shit.
it's empty. He's like, well, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, this is that confrontation we're talking about at the end where he's just very lucid because he's talking to Joker. He's like, this is when he finally gets that speech across. He's like, listen, we're gonna keep attacking each other. Like this is gonna go on until one of us kills each other. So just let it end here. Like I can help you. Like you're sick, we can get you help. Like,
and there's a moment where like he's saying that, and then there's this last moment where Joker looks back, and it's like he's almost gonna say, and he's like,
and then that's he's like, it's too late.
and he's like, no, sorry, but it's too late for that, far too late. But he immediately I love that they kept this in the same panel to give the like acceleration of this.
He
Like,
changes the subject immediately.
immediately. This reminds
He's like,
me.
let's not forget that.
Yeah.
This reminds me of a joke. You see, there were these two guys in a lunatic asylum, very clearly framing them in the thing.
Yep.
And so this joke is about them.
Yeah.
So as I'm going to actually read through this. And one night they decide they don't like living in the asylum anymore. So like they're saying they're both trying to get out of the situation they're in. They decided they're going to escape. So one of them's going to go too far. So like they get up on the roof and there, just across this narrow gap, they see the rooftops of the town stretching away in the moonlight, stretching away to freedom. Now the first guy, he jumps right across it, Bruce, with no problem. And his friend daren't make the leap. You see, he's afraid of falling. He's afraid of what happens if he would just let himself feel again, like normally, like a normal person, if he would like allow himself to be like, oh, lives matter. Oh, that, like he was afraid of what happened.
He's afraid of that responsibility.
Yeah. So first guy's an idea. Hey, so this is basically Bruce reaching out his hand to Joker. Is this next part of the joke where he says, hey, I have my flashlight with me. I'll shine it across the gap between the buildings. You can walk along the beam and join me. That's him. Like, I can help you.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the second guy's like, oh, he says, what do you think I am, crazy?
And this is the actual punchline of the joke, yeah.
Turn off when I was halfway across. Not, like, the whole point of that joke is, like, that he would fall anyway.
Right.
That's not the way to help him. Like, that's not how this ends. And then he laughs. He's like, oh, excuse me.
I do think the joke by itself is kind of funny.
It actually is a pretty good joke. And then Batman gives him what he's never given him before, which is this laugh. And they laugh together with the police lights on. And notice how we have laughter coming from both sides. We have the ha-has, ha-ha.
Yeah.
You see where Bruce's hands are going. They're going up around his neck. Then the laughter stops. The light turns off. That light, that gap, like the light from the joke, turns off. And we are back at that is the cycle. That's the thing. When I first read Killing Joke, I'm like, oh, yeah, no, he didn't kill him. But then I read it again, like maybe a year or two later. I'm like, oh no, he fucking killed him. So it's like, I don't know. Different times I get different. I'd have to sit down and read again, word by word, everything again. So,
but yeah, that'll do it for the Killing Joke. We did, we like I said, we're gonna do a deep dive on both of those comics because we're doing this Joker episode here.
Yeah.
But after this, we are going to be talking about the Joker movie itself, the adaptation. So we'll be back with that. All right, everybody, and we are here on the final section of our Joker episode. We are actually going to cover the movie now, finally. For this part, I don't think we need to talk through a lot of the plot, because I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you've either seen the movie or you're going to listen to this later once you have seen it.
And go watch the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go see it. I mean, if you don't want to pay for it, sneak in. Pull a Joker. Sneak your way in there.
Or just wait for
He
the
does
movie.
that in the movie. He sneaks into a theater.
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah.
there you go. See, he's teaching you lessons. Hopefully that's the only lesson you pick up from him.
Yeah, literally the only one.
Oh, no, if the news is to be believed, you'll pick up every lesson, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this movie, I think we're going to have mixed thoughts on this, because I haven't talked to you guys about this at all yet. So I'm wondering if I'm on the same level about this movie as you guys are. It'll be interesting to see.
Okay.
I guess we can just throw it out there. I mean, we can talk about generally the plot in general. I don't want to go into too much detail.
Yeah.
But it starts out with Arthur. He's, mentally ill, lives with his mom. He has kind of these fantasies that go through his head all the time.
Yeah.
There's a very running theme where like the poor are like all their programs are being cut, especially for the mentally ill. So he kind of is starting to lose more of his mind as the movie goes on.
And the trash there's a trash strike because the garbage workers aren't being paid
That's
enough.
one thing I really like. Yeah.
Gotham is gross.
Yeah.
And Gotham should be gross.
Yeah.
I think this is the best Gotham City we've seen in live action since Batman Begins.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is better than Batman Begins, I think. This is like real Gotham.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's
but
more
also I like
campy Gotham.
I'd say yes and no. Batman Begins also has like just the views of Gotham. It looks so stylized and like
it does look a little
gothic.
more modern, yeah. But this is old timey Gotham.
Yeah, it feels
This is like 80s Gotham.
Well, this
Yeah.
feels like a place you could like actually live in. It'd be a dumpster. Where the Batman Begins one, it just feels like this gothic like wasteland. Of
Yeah,
a city.
it's a little off, but
So yeah, all of his funding's getting cut. He's got that.
I was burping.
He's like,
Start over.
I'm sorry. He's got all the funding and everything's being cut. The garbage workers are on strike. So everything around Arthur is like falling apart.
Oh, yeah, can we talk about how the whole angle of him having there's a name for it, but his whole laughing
Oh,
disorder,
I like that a lot.
I like that angle.
That was a really good take, and that's mainly what I took away from this movie that I liked was that the character itself I guess he was only the Joker at the really end, but the character itself was great.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Joaquin
yeah.
Phoenix played him really
killed
well.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like all the little things, all the mannerisms, and like that part with the disease, that's a really good reason for him to like that makes it more tragic. I like that.
Exactly.
Well, I like at the end, like he talks about it too. He's like, I always thought like I was trying to hide the laughter, but it's like, no, I've just always been laughing at the wrong things, but it's because I found them funny.
Yeah,
Like and
that's a better line than "My life's a comedy."
Yeah.
yeah, that one. Yeah.
That was a
Yeah,
little
the
on the
whole
nose.
it's not a tragedy. It's a comedy.
Yeah, you had already phrased it better
a
with that
funny
first
yeah,
line.
comedy. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and what I like too is that they really go out of their way to establish early on he is an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
He just everything you are seeing might not be true. Like, did those kids actually break the sign and beat him up? We don't know because that's.
I think that part did happen because he does get fired from his job for it.
Well,
Yeah.
because the boss says, "Well, did you steal the sign?" No, he actually doesn't get fired for it.
Although
No, he gets fired.
I would really like it if that part was not canon and that it was his mind because that part was very weird to me. I was
Well,
like, all
that's-
this over a sign?
no,
feels-
he didn't get fired over the sign.
He
He
got-
got fired over the gun.
Oh, was it the gun that he got
Yeah.
fired for? Oh, he definitely got in trouble for the
because
sign.
yeah,
They
he
said
had
he'd have
trouble,
to
yeah.
pay
he had to
for
pay
it.
back for it. Yeah.
Isn't that just 2 planks of wood painted yellow?
Yeah, it's like $1.
I think you could just replace that and he would
Yeah.
not notice.
No.
Also, the gun itself, like, did that guy actually come up? Like, because the guy giving him the gun is also another unreliable thing because earlier on with the short, or later on with the short guy, he said, "You're the only one who was ever nice to me." But when he comes up with the gun, he's like, "Oh man, you gotta have this gun to protect yourself because I worry about you." It's like, that's what Arthur wants. Arthur wants people to care about him, but do they?
Yeah.
So when
When that
like,
guy sells him out later, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, when the guy sells him out later, and then like he said, "No, he sold it to me," and the guy's like, "What the fuck? No." I think that guy's telling the truth.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You're not like some people see it that way, some people see it the other. And that's the point of the Joker. And I'm like, they did it.
Right. And the thing is, too, and there were a lot of the unreliable narrator was a part I liked, but it also did force moments for me where something was in the
So
movie
unbelievable.
that was so unbelievable, but then it turns out that it actually did happen. And I'm like, wait, what?
Wait,
What
what part was
part?
that?
Like the part that I thought was really unbelievable was where it's what gets him on the show. Like where they're doing almost like what's that show on MTV where they just watch YouTube videos and comment on it?
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah, he's basically doing ridiculousness on his old school like talk show, which
Yeah.
doesn't happen. I do have a note on here which is pretty cool. Like once we get closer to his actual transition of the Joker, that scene in the subway.
Oh, God. I love
It's awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
He felt so Joker. There's a mannerism he does as he comes out of the train car that straight up looks like it was out of the animated series.
Really?
Like the way he slides head first and kind of snakes his body out of the
Just
car.
goofily, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, and then he like takes off the mask. I'm like, that was the Joker.
The-
That was the first. That in my head, I made a mental note. That was the first moment I went, "That's the Joker."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, character wise, he nailed it. Like, but the note I had about that subway scene was like, the way it escalated was really good, but I was having trouble believing the escalation at first. Because, like, imagine that you're on this subway by yourself, even with a couple buddies, and like you're kind of like a little bit wasted, and this is dark, really creepy subway.
Yeah.
And like this woman walks away from you, and you're like, all right, I'm just gonna chill on the subway.
Yeah.
And then you just see this guy alone, laughing to himself.
Uncontrollably.
Oh,
Huddled
you're talking
over.
about that subway scene. So I thought you were talking about the one later in the film.
Yeah, so I mean, my this is where the movie kind of loses me because I feel like this movie, you have a character that really works and a progression that works and a really good setup to make him that character, but there needs to be something else going. I feel like it's the part of the movie's missing, which
Well,
is
they
that
had
like.
the whole,
Thomas
class warfare thing.
Wayne.
Well, yeah, there's a message
Am
there,
I-
but
is
they have a
Joker
mixed
Thomas Wayne's
message.
son?
They have at best a mixed message in this movie. Both sides were pieces of shit, and then at the end, nobody wins.
Well, that's
Yeah.
I think that's true.
Well, he doesn't get help, so they create like.
That's
so the
the problem
mentally
with
ill
him.
not getting help is he becomes who he is.
Oh, no, I
and
follow the
everything falls
progression,
in
yeah.
part on top of itself because when the top don't take care of the bottom, or the healthy don't take care of the sick,
Right.
the whole system will collapse on itself.
And that's a
what
good
happens,
message,
That's
yeah.
what happens to Gotham at the end there.
Yeah.
The system literally imploded on itself, and now you have the Joker.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, he's not the Joker until the end, in my mind. Like, I saw that there's one scene where he's running away from the cops, and he had that one mannerism where I'm like, all right, that's the Joker. But even during the speech, he was still Arthur in my mind. It was after he shot him.
Yeah, and there's parts too where like he was very clearly being like Thomas Wayne is a piece of shit in this movie.
They
but
made him a super piece of shit.
He's awful. I hate him so much.
He's not redeemable at all. In the
No,
new
he's
movie.
irredeemable.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's,
he does
that's
have
another thing. Is that just how Arthur's here, like thinking about him and hearing him? Because like he's cartoonishly
that
Maybe.
could be another.
Yeah, but I feel like we're meeting him more than halfway. Yeah.
True.
I mean, maybe, but I feel like I don't know if we got enough hints that the that the narrator's that unreliable.
But think
Yeah,
about
it
it from
wasn't
this
yet.
way too. Thomas Wayne was born into like riches. Think about Greg Marcus, another like that's a person who was born into riches. Think about him.
There's
like,
a reference everyone here's gonna get.
Well, just think about someone like that. You know, like a millionaire, someone who's born a millionaire.
Yeah.
Sure,
How
any
disconnected are them
CEO,
from
yeah.
the bottom.
Yeah. They don't know any of
Yeah.
this
So like
light.
when he's like, yeah, they want my help. They want like again, it's a cartoonishly evil look at that type of character, but like it's kind of the inverse of what you usually get. He's usually cartoonishly good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas Wayne's like, I will save Gotham.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was shot, or else I would have saved the world.
I think my problem is more that like the civil unrest I really like, but I think it should have been sparked by something a little different because you don't the civil unrest
shooting
being
3 Wall Street guys.
like usually civil unrest is because someone like died and you're upset about it.
Yeah.
Like they're not usually about someone murdered and you're like, yeah, more murder, because that just means everyone below is a piece of shit.
yeah.
I mean,
Like I don't know if that's a good message
it
either.
is Gotham.
It is Gotham.
I know, but yeah.
This is a place that needs a Batman in like 20 years.
That's
Yeah.
my whole point. Is this movie needs a Batman?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I think that's kind of
Yeah.
cool how it stresses like this is what Gotham looks like without a Batman.
Because I think everything in this movie works. I just don't think it's enough.
Yeah.
I think you need that foil. It doesn't have to be Batman even. It could
I wish
have
it
just
was.
been one of the cops. I wish it was Batman. I
still
agree.
think this should have happened at a time where there was a Batman.
It absolutely should have. Because this
yeah.
all would have been so much better if there was that foil.
That
Exactly.
counter, too.
Yeah.
yeah, there wasn't enough of a counter.
Because
Someone who had a perfect.
And that's why the movie, like, it was a great movie, but like I just left that movie feeling so like just uncomfortable and just so like,
I think that's the point, but
oh yeah,
I still think it would have been better with Batman. And I think
No
it would have been
doubt.
better if he was, I don't know, a little more in control as the Joker. I think that's my biggest problem is that I never got the Joker I wanted, but that's just me being very, very picky. That's like if you were reading like, or if you were watching like a Daredevil thing and he never was quite the Matt Murdock you wanted.
right,
him
or
to
like
be.
he never cared about being a lawyer or something.
Or like
that, yeah.
Superman, like
Yeah.
like you know, watching Superman like in Man of Steel. You probably watch
Kill
that, like,
Zod.
you're like, why are you this?
Why are you killing that man?
You're so close to what I want, but you're just not quite right. That's what
I was with you this whole movie.
I think it kind of works because like he's kind of hesitant at first. Like he doesn't want to, like he's not just gonna go balls out crazy murder like right.
Well, yeah, no,
off
I
the
don't want
bat.
that, but I want him to be more in control. Like
I think you just maybe should have had that scene where he kills the guy on the talk show halfway through the movie.
Yeah, it came too late.
Yeah. Because like he's only the Joker. We talked about this at the very end of the movie.
Yeah. Like and it's basically when he gets in the car crash. And
I was
he
getting
makes the
really
smile
into it
with
when he
at
the
makes
that
a
point.
smile
That's
with the
such
blood.
a great scene.
I was like, all right, I'm digging this movie. What's
then
gonna
it
happen now?
ends.
And then I was like, oh,
And
it's
then he's
over.
in the
the end.
asylum, and it's like, did the whole movie even happen at
Yeah.
all? I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did.
And then there's a weird, and of course we had to see the Waynes die one more time.
Oh, of
yeah.
course.
I rolled my eyes so hard at that
I
part.
know. I was like,
You
is it
saw the
coming?
clown go into the alley with them. You're like, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's but I mean that's my main problem with this movie.
It's a
just-
stretch.
It needs that force of good
Yeah.
to kind of tie everything together.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think.
There's no optimism in that movie.
No, not
I
at
mean,
all. And I hate just pointless pessimism.
But then again, that's the Joker's thing. Like
I that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, that's kind of the point of the
That's
Joker.
his
though.
thing.
If you're
it's
gonna
the
take-
point. It's the point of the Joker, but he has that point because it's a foil to Batman's point.
Oh yeah, no, I understand that completely.
Yeah.
But they wanted to make a Joker, a Batman-less Joker movie, so that's what it's gonna be. It's
You're
gonna
right.
be,
No, you're right. That's
it's
what you're gonna get.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be, ironically, a tragedy.
That's the meal you
Yeah.
ordered. Yeah.
It's a tragedy, and that's funny because he's like, "Oh, my life's a comedy, not a tragedy." It's like, no.
Yeah.
It's depressing, it's sad, it's dark, it's uncomfortable.
Yep.
And I think that's Joker, especially without Batman there to be his foil.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I would say, I mean, if I had to give the movie a score, I'd say, I don't know. There's other movies that I would give a 7 that I think are better than this. So I don't know.
I think I was gonna say, what you're talking about, it sounds like you're giving it a 6 out of 10.
I would give it a 6 or 6.5. And that's not a complete. That's not a lot of people give 6s as like a fuck you. I don't think it's a
No,
fuck you.
5 is
If 5 is average,
5
then-
is an average movie.
Yeah. If 5's an average movie, I'd say this is 1 point above that.
I'd give it a solid 7.
Okay.
I was gonna say 7 or 8 for me.
Like I said, I just think the movie needs a stronger point
IMDb,
to
it's
it.
got like a 9.
And I
well,
get,
but like the Rotten
Yeah.
Tomatoes is like a 53.
Oh, true, yeah.
like you're completely right that if you're gonna make a movie about the Joker, it's gonna be all like hopeless pessimism. But
And
I
that's
just
just not your cup of tea. Where I tend to like that kind
Right.
of stuff.
I enjoyed it.
I could take in that like viewpoint and be like, okay, yeah, I understand this.
Yeah.
Without being like,
oh no, I understand. I just think it's
oh yeah, not that you don't
yeah.
understand. Sorry, that was a bad way to frame that. But just I don't like you tend to like it was like our interpretations at the end of the Killing Joke. You like the
It's like what you
like,
enjoy reading.
You
yeah.
like the
Yeah.
victory. You like
Right.
the good guys winning. I like sometimes I like the bad guys winning.
Yeah, I think the bad guys can win. I just think it needs to have a message that's like, this is what we need to do better, you know. But yeah, that'll do it for our oversized Joker episode here,
Thanks for having
our annual special.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if this is 2 parts, cool. If it's 1 part, cool.
We'll see how it ends up. It
Yeah.
could be either one.
This thick boy of an episode. Hey, thanks for having me. I'll be
Oh, of course.
I'll be happy to
Anytime.
be here for like Spider-Man, Venom, Spider-Gwen, shit like that.
I will let you know what we're reading for sure.
Oh, yeah,
we're happy to have a guest on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. One thing I do want to call out here at the end is that if you do, I called this out at the beginning, but just if you're following us, follow us on Agents of Podcast. We're trying to build that up here just so we can just so I can feel like I'm tweeting at somebody.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter. And I'm going to plug myself and us.
Sure,
Go
go
sub
for
to EKG,
Check it
youtube.com/EKG,
out.
baby.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Watch the Let's Plays videos.
We
Watch the
play
best
video
stuff.
games.
Yeah.
Paul's over there too.
Yeah, Paul's the editor of the Coop Troop.
Give me
him and
Josh.
Yeah.
Josh will definitely be on this podcast here too eventually.
Yeah, we're gonna do Watchmen pretty soon. I think he'll be on those episodes.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, I love Watchmen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Watch that
Watchmen. We're gonna we're gonna do all 12 episodes in one, just because I think we're gonna breeze through that a little bit.
Yeah,
Watchmen's
same.
another one of those comics
We'll see how
where
it goes, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
been broken down.
Yeah.
But thanks for watching. Any closing thoughts, either one of you? Any last sentiments?
My life is not a tragedy. It's a googum.
I think my life's a romantic comedy with not enough romance.
That's a tragedy.
Oh, it's a tragedy. Oh, I guess I should be the Joker. This.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I guess it's time for me and Eric to die.
Yeah. All right. You guys want to hear a knock knock joke? Goodbye.